playing online blackjack and want to try upping your odds? Well, here's a tip. Cheat cards tell you statistics for whether you hit or stand on every move. If you're into stats, this could be your ticket to winning. And it is totally legal. Now, go get lucky. See you in Lost Pages. Let's get lucky.
If you believe he should be in the Hall of Fame, there's, let's let him wait another 2 years. Wait, he's already dead at this point. Like, what are you waiting for? Another 2 to 3 years. He's either in or he's not. He's out. And sometimes you look at that too, Tom. It's like you can't tell, the history of Major League Baseball without Pete Rose.
Frankly, the writers have some standard that they want to hold players to, which seems to fluctuate on a player-to-player basis. So he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I'm not sure how quickly he'll get there.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
I'm not saying this thing is scripted, but damn it, they put those two teams on the first weekend of the basketball season for a reason, because they were expecting some kind of fireworks. They got it. Did Angel Reese overreact? Probably. Did Caitlin Clark have to stare it down? Probably not. There's enough flame to go both sides. But guess who doesn't care? That's the WNBA.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Live on SportsGrid, it is Game Time Decisions here with you on a Thursday night. I'm Kevin Walsh as we are with you again for the next 90 minutes up until In-Game Live, where they will be taking over the postseason coverage for both the NBA and NHL. Knicks Pacers, huge game, a 3-1 series lead for Indiana. Similar situation as we go to Dallas with the Stars trailing the Oilers 3-1. Edmonton win away from giving us a rematch in the Stanley Cup final. The Pacers potentially could clinch their spot against the Thunder, who last night punched their ticket into the NBA Finals. Major League Baseball, really quiet day. We've played Phillies Braves once already. In about 10 minutes, we'll play it again. Chris Sale booked as the favorite in Philly against Zach Wheeler. That's kind of crazy. I think some of that is because Philly took game one. Some of that is the fact that Bryce Harper's not playing. But I don't think you could sell me on any real situation outside of maybe Yamamoto in Philly with what the Dodgers are. Zach Wheeler shouldn't be a dog at home. Value looks like it's on the Philadelphia Phillies. We'll talk a little more Major League Baseball tonight. And one of our crew best bets will actually come from the Major League Baseball slate. We also have some crystal balls here on a Thursday. Look into the future. Some decent prices out there. A little bit of buzz for football season. We will get there momentarily. We begin tonight, though, with our main event, which is the Knicks and the Pacers. Game 5 in the Eastern Conference Finals, where the Knicks have their season on the line, currently sitting at plus 480 to advance past the Pacers. Indiana, minus 650 to move on. The story for the Knicks, though, if they are going to get it done, will they be doing it with a less than 100% Karl Anthony Towns? Will they possibly be doing it without Karl Anthony Towns? Cat, at the moment, is listed as questionable for this basketball game. Here was Karl Anthony Towns almost immediately after the Game 4 loss to Indiana and what he said when asked about the injury.
Karl, I know you were able to get back on the floor after your knee was hurting, but how's it feeling now? Do you think it'll prevent you from playing?
I'm only thinking about the loss. I'm not thinking about that right now. So, it's disappointing when you don't get a win, and we just didn't do enough to get the job done tonight.
Now, look, I don't want to read too much into Karl Anthony Towns there being focused on the defeat. That's understandably where his head was at. I don't think it's nothing, though, that Cat did immediately say, look, I'm fine. A lot of times athletes, even when that's not true, rush to tell you it's the case. The fact that this game is going to be played in around 90 minutes and Cat is being listed as a game time decision, I think guarantees he's not going to be 100% out there for the Knicks tonight. We'll wait for the official confirmation. We'll get it on our show here. If we get the stunning news that Karl Anthony Towns is out for this basketball game, then we'll adjust accordingly. Where the biggest adjustments would be made, Brunson's number will continue to go higher. It just has to. That number tonight, 30.5, I think he's in line to go over it. Brunson at home, the season on the line, should be giving you a big scoring effort. He had a late, meaningless, if you will, basket at the very end to push over the 30.5 in game number 4, but he was averaging 40 through the first 2 at Madison Square Garden, so getting back there should be a big lift for him. If Cat can't go, you have to expect Josh Hart back into the starting lineup. 9.5 points. Hart's been rebounding well off of the bench. That number for Josh Hart tonight is 9.5 as well. Perhaps his double-double price would be interesting to some at plus 210. But if Karl Anthony Towns is out, the Mitchell Robinson double-double price checks in at plus 800. I'm going to play Mitchell Robinson tonight. This was played a little bit earlier on in the day where I didn't think the Cat stuff would last this long. Again, every indication is Cat will play. But it lasting this long, I think it would mean a little bit less minutes for Karl Anthony Towns. And then that can mean some more minutes for Mitchell Robinson. Go over the 13.5 points at minus 113. And there's a couple of reasons beyond the Cat questions that push me towards liking Mitch Robs over in this spot. His first 2 games at the Garden, rebounds-wise, he was excellent, 8 and 9 boards. We're seeing a little bit more scoring for Mitchell Robinson, taking his chances on the offensive rebounds there, a lob here or there as well. But one of the things, again, I don't think it's nothing, fouled twice against the Pacers, or fouled once, and made both free throws. If you are Tom Thibodeau, the dream scenario, while trying to be realistic, is, they're not going to stop Hacker Robinson unless he makes some free throws. If Mitchell Robinson is in and they force him to the line, you could very well have him go 3 for 4 to start, and then it's done. And that could really help you get over 13.5 points plus rebounds number on Mitchell Robinson, a number that I like, though not my best bet. That would be Andrew Nembhard over 10.5 points. Andrew Nembhard this postseason on the road, a big reason why the Pacers have been so dominant. Averaging 15.3 points per game on the road this postseason, 12 or more points in 6 of 7 road games, giving you 25 or better points, rebounds, and assists in 4 of the 7 road games. That's around a 3-to-1 number if you alt it up, the PRA number on Andrew Nembhard tonight. And you're getting a clear and obvious bounce-back spot for the Pacers starter. 9 points on 2 of 9 shooting in Game 3. 3 points on 1 of 9 shooting in Game 4. 3 of 18 for Andrew Nembhard in Games 3 and 4 on his home floor. Again, that's bounce-back style if I've ever seen it. Nembhard is someone who had scored 20-plus points in each of the first 2 series. If Nembhard gets it going early, it could very well be his night tonight, relatively speaking, and he could fill it up in a way that lifts the Pacers to where they want to be, which is, again, advancing to a head-to-head matchup with the Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA Finals. This game here tonight has the Knicks booked as a 4.5-point favorite. Total right now is 222. Both of these teams understand the moment. The Knicks have their season on the line. I did think through the at least, words we heard from Tyrese Halliburton. We know that they're going to come out and give their best punch. We have to be ready for it. If you are following this Pacers postseason through just honest lenses, right? They keep ending these series in 5. Look at the one against Cleveland. I think it's the best example. Game number 4, they rolled the Cavs. You would have thought the Cavs would have showed up in Game 5. They were booked as 8.5-point favorites. Pacers ended up down double digits at the end of the first quarter. They ended up nearly winning the game by double digits. The Pacers do not go away easily. So a spot here will the Knicks at some point be up by double digits tonight? Probably so. Will that be enough to hold off Indiana? Probably not. I believe, and I'm going to try and find this quickly before we hit our first commercial break here, and then we're going to get right into some of the action on the ice with Joe Madden. But best comeback by 10 or more points, something to look at. Quick break, Game Time Decisions. We're here on SportsGrid.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to Game Time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5 points live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Pages. Let's get lucky.
We're live on SportsGrid. It is Game Time Decisions. Kevin Walsh with you on this Thursday night and joined by Joe Madden. Always love the opportunity to talk to Joe here, especially when you get great games in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And Joe, we've got a great one here between Dallas and Edmonton, I think, because the Oilers, it's hard to believe that this team started the postseason down 0-2 to the Kings. They've been really dominant since that point. They've won 3 in a row against the Stars. A 4th consecutive here would set up a Stanley Cup final rematch.
Absolutely. And you look at that, and that would be fantastic to see the rematch. And I think it happens, Kevin, but I don't think it's that easy. I think Dallas is able to get things done tonight. And I was really interested to see the lines have moved. Money's been coming in on Edmonton during the day. And we're now seeing the Dallas Stars at minus 126, where they were minus 134 earlier. But this team at home here, we're going to see the big stars step up, right? We talked about going into last game. Mikko Rantanen needs to get on the board. Jason Robinson needs to get something done. And the only way the goals came in that last game was power play or empty net for both of these teams. So I'm looking at this one, Dallas at home with last change. I think at minus 126, it's a steal. And I do think you could take that puck line laying 1.5 at almost 2-1 to your money. I'm looking for Dallas to really come out, get a big statement win. And then do we go back to Edmonton? Edmonton finishes it in 6. More than likely, Edmonton will finish it in 6, in my opinion, Kevin.
Yeah, they're certainly favored too, Joe. I think for the Oilers, the way they're winning this year feels very different to last year, certainly different to expectations, right? Over the last 3 games where they've beaten Dallas, a shutout, and then one goal. That's just not who we know the Oilers to be. I think there's a part of me that almost, it's like, that can't be, right? There's no way. I don't know. Let's say, if last year's Kansas City Chiefs all of a sudden were winning games 7-0, it's like, I don't know, this seems confusing a little bit. But give them credit, right? If this is what people have wanted to see from the Oilers, more complete performances, and they're offering them up. Now, you still expect Dallas to get the job done tonight. How does that impact some of your prop plays?
It impacts them a little bit here, Kevin, because I'm looking at a couple of different players. I think both of these teams will start off hot and fast in that first period, especially Dallas because of the frustration of what Edmonton's been able to do in those last 3 games. We know in that very first game, Edmonton got off to that fast start. Dallas was able to make the comeback. I expect Dallas to try to get off to a fast start, but we know Edmonton loves that game of play as well. I will look at both teams to score in the first period at plus 162. Now, you have to remember, Zach Hyman is no longer in the lineup for the Edmonton Oilers. He is out and will be having surgery, so he will not be returning, and that takes a huge part of the physicality out of it in this game for Edmonton. Look for Dallas to be able to get more attempts, more shots on goal, because Zach Hyman isn't all over them. I do think he is a huge hole for this team, and Connor Brown's still question marks on if he'll be hitting the ice because of concussion reasons. So both teams just score in the first period, and then I'm looking at players here for Dallas. I think this is one of those games where Edmonton, people are questioning why they thought they were so strong. They will return strong in the next one, but I think it's so hard to beat a team 4 times in a row. And with how they've been able to lock down that defense, Kevin, you talked about it. Not the team that we all say, okay, this is a defensive team. You say that to Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, though. In the press, they've been very vocal about that. Evan Bouchard has been playing really strong, and some of their defensive players have been great. But I think this is a night for Dallas. You look at them at the postseason, record 7-2 at home. I'm going to look for Tyler Sequin to step up big for his anytime goal coming in at plus 300. 4 shots on goal in the last game. And then I'll look at one of his line mates. It's also on the second power play with him. They're both on the second line. I'll look at Marchment. Now, Marchment was responsible for that injury on Hyman, so you know he's going to be targeted tonight. We'll see Edmonton spend that time in the box. Dallas on that power play will be deadly tonight, so look for those power play points, but I think Marchment gets the point. I won't be shocked if it comes on the power play, but just the point alone is plus 106. 5 shots on goal in the last game. He had an assist in that first game. And then you can't deny Mikko Rantanen and Jason Robinson tonight. I think this is all about the Stars' key players, Kevin.
Joe, if you're Florida, and not that either opponent would be easy, but would they rather the rematch, do you think, against Edmonton, or perhaps avoid Connor McDavid, Draisaitl, and take your chances against Dallas?
It's really interesting question, Kevin, and one that I talked to some ex-NHL players about just this past weekend, and they said you definitely want the team that you've been able to face before, because you know. Now, there's been some changes on both sides. You look at the Florida Panthers, they've added Brad Marchand and Seth Jones, so they do have different factors, and on the Edmonton side as well, but I do think they're going to be looking Florida wants Edmonton. Edmonton wants Florida. And of course, they will get it if they're able to get there. But that familiarity, knowing what they have, and Edmonton will be seeking revenge. So I think an easier path would be for Florida to take out the Dallas Stars. I think they hoist the cup if Dallas gets through. But I do think if Edmonton gets through, Kevin, this team is looking for revenge. I think that series would go all the way 2-7, but I think we'd have the opposite outcome as we did last year.
It would be incredible if we end up with a finals rematch, because at least I know in the NBA, you get a finals rematch. It's like, yeah, we knew all year, Cavs, Warriors. I feel like there were plenty of people that were not picking Edmonton or Florida really to go on these type of runs, Joe. If that ends up the Cup final, I know it's going to be really exciting. I know it's going to be big time. We'll see if McDavid can pull it off. Joe, we appreciate it as always. Best of luck on the ice tonight.
Yeah, best of luck to all of you. And if you think it's Edmonton, take Connor McDavid right now to take the Conn Smythe. You'll get the best value.
Yeah, McDavid last year, of course, as many will remember, won it and a loss. He did not go out there and accept that trophy, which is understandable. I think he plans this year to go out there and accept it in a win. We'll see if that's how it plays out. There is a part of me, though, I don't know if this is going to break McDavid's way. We're going to do some crystal balls here on a Thursday, which includes a Week 1 college football pick. That's next. It's Game Time Decisions on SportsGrid.
Face is the new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Like seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Like, really? Guy's got 2 shots. You're the face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces in the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
And if you go through Cat, that means Cat at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing Sloot too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
I already heard yesterday that he's got no shot to win the Cy Young because it's going to Skubal again. Skubal's winning the Cy Young. No shot for free.
They're both terrific. They both have incredible numbers and credentials and stats and strikeouts and ERA and everything, like every single category. Fried is right there with him.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid. Game Time Decisions. We're making a couple here. So far tonight, best bets. Let's get the cruise in. All right. I mentioned mine. It's Andrew Nemhard over the 10.5 points. Absolutely love it. I think it's worth playing some alts on the points. I think it's worth playing point, rebound, assist alts as well. I think Nemhard steps up on the road. For Casino, Chris, he's going to go Jonathan Aranda over the 1.5 hit run RBI. Something about Chris and an AL East team. He finds one every year. The Orioles let him down. It's the Rays this year. It's Aranda tonight. And then Yarnell, Pacers +4. If you made him take a... Is that... No, come on. He doesn't even like basketball that much. No Mikko Rantanen? I mean, I give Yarnell a lot of credit. He put Mikko Rantanen on the map. Stars didn't even know what they were trading for until the Stars put in a trade request for Mikko Rantanen. They ended up with this Mikko character, and then Yarnell's like, guys, he's really good. You got to play him more. That's where the best bets are tonight. Pacers catching the points. Aranda over the 1.5 hit run RBI. Nemhard over the 10.5 points. We decided, though, listen, if on this Thursday you're sitting there, you're thinking to yourself, man, you know, what are we going to do? What are we going to do when all this good stuff's done? We got to look into the future. And I didn't go super far into the future. I tried to make up for it with the odds. The fellas went into the football season. For me, simple yet difficult. The Stars to win the Cup, it's 15-1. I think it's a worthwhile price. I think the Stars have a significantly better chance compared to the New York Knicks. Not just in their series, but even more importantly, if the Stars actually get through Edmonton, I think they can beat Florida. I think it would say a ton about Dallas if they get through Edmonton. A lot more than it would say if the Knicks did complete this comeback against the Indiana Pacers. Now, the price for the Knicks is better than the Stars, but I don't think it's a big enough gap. And maybe the Knicks number should be a 50-1 shot. It's not. With only 3 teams left, probably that's not going to be the case. But I think the Stars at 15-1 on home ice tonight, I think they're still live. And I think they're worth a shot at 15-1. We then get a 10-1 from Yarnell. Eagles, rushing touchdown. Every game in the regular season. Whoa. 10-1 shot. 2 losses last year on that wager. One, you'll think, come on, that doesn't count, which was week 18. No starters played. And again, you look at the Eagles and their season, they won that football game. They scored multiple touchdowns. The problem is Tanner McKee, sneaky superstar, top 40 quarterback in the league. So it was a lot of tossing. The other game where the Eagles didn't score a rushing touchdown, the vaunted Cleveland Browns defense that were still giving it their all. They were 1-4. Browns covered. Eagles handled their business. You know which side the most unbiased man in the history of sports media was on in that game? Cleveland, catching the 8.5. Someone had to do it, and we did it that day. Eagles didn't look back after that one. Pretty nice to see. Casino Chris, though. Some know him as SEC Chris. Name's not going to change after seeing this one. Texas money line, week 1 against Ohio State. I respect it. I mean, we're a ways out. Do I right now know who I like in that game? No, I don't. It's at Ohio State, though. I wonder if this number will move as we get closer towards Texas. I envision a lot of people wanting to back Arch Manning much more than, wait, who? Starting for Ohio State. You might say that's disrespectful to Julian Sayin, but you might have just heard his first name for the first time when I just said it. Then again, Jeremiah Smith maybe transcends everything, and the Buckeyes at home will get all the action. I really hope my breakdown for that game, which is, again, a ways away, gets me to that over right now. If I'm not mistaken, currently sitting 50.5. Come on, we got to have some juice out there to start the college football season. SEC Chris says under. We'll see. But again, if you're like, hey, listen, I don't know if tonight's slate's calling my name. Where can I get involved? I mean, technically, the Stars are a part of tonight's slate, but still throw some long shots out there. Let's talk some basketball with Danny Burke next, right here on Game Time Decisions.
face. He's the new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Like seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Like, really? Guy's got 2 shots. New face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces of the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
And if you go through Cat, that means Cat at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing Sloot too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
I already heard yesterday that he's got no shot to win the Cy Young because it's going to Scooble again. Scooble's winning the Cy Young. No shot for free.
They're both terrific. They both have incredible numbers and credentials and stats and strikeouts and ERA and everything, like every single category. Freed is right there with him.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid. Game Time Decisions live with you on a Thursday night. We're now joined by Danny Burke. You can find him over on Twitter at DannyBurke5. Getting us set for the main event tonight, which is the Knicks and the Pacers in Madison Square Garden. And Danny, I want to get right into it here. Some questions around Karl Anthony Towns. I think everyone would be stunned, including the sports books, if he missed this game. Has it given you any pause heading into this matchup? Or maybe are you looking to go against Cat following the fact that he is now being listed as a game time decision?
Yeah, Kevin, we see this happen all the time in the NBA, obviously during the regular season, but it's a little strange to see it during the postseason because, we're expecting these guys to play. I can't remember who it was, but we saw it a couple times with one of these teams throughout the playoffs, and then realistically, they end up being okay. So I think the way to go about it is to not overreact. And maybe I'm just trying to sell myself on that idea because earlier in the day, I did take Karl Anthony Towns over his points prop, but in all reality, I'm still not freaking out about it because he's going to go out there. It's an elimination game unless there's some crazy injury that I didn't know about, that the sports books didn't know about, because the prop that I played was him over 20.5 points. Now, I did lay a little bit more around minus $140 to get there. I still like it at 21.5, and I've seen some other books get it to 22.5. And the reason why I did lay a little bit more is because the issue with Karl Anthony Towns sometimes in the series, Kevin, is that he's gotten into foul trouble early, and he hasn't had the ability to score early as often as he would want to, as often as the Knicks would want him to. So he needs to stay out of foul trouble. And I was talking to someone else about this. So last game, with the Pacers having their backs against the wall, I thought this is obviously a must-win spot for them. And in order for that to happen, their star player, Tyrese Haliburton, has to step up. And he did that and then some. And I think I took him over 19.5 points. And, he blew it out of the water. I didn't expect him to go off that much. But the point is, I expect the same fire to come with Karl Anthony Towns in this game. He needs to step up immensely. He needs to play well enough defensively and carefully enough so he can keep himself out there on the floor. He's gotten 20 plus in each of these games. It's been a tad bit volatile, but look, he's got to step up in a big way. And again, the injury thing, doesn't scare me too much, knock on wood, Kevin, but I am expecting a big effort out of the Knicks big man tonight.
Yeah, listen, I think it's one of those really interesting spots, Danny, where we don't expect him to miss the game in any capacity. I will say, though, you would think then they would just say he's going to be fine. So it's less than, or it's more than a 0% chance Cat misses the game. The most difficult thing becomes if you end up tonight getting only 30 minutes out of Cat, that changes thing. Now, the nice thing is Cat doesn't probably need 40 minutes to get over what looks to be a little bit of a lower number in this spot. Are there any other Knicks tonight that are going to be looks for you heading into Game 5?
Yeah, the other player that I had was Jalen Brunson, over 6.5 assists. Now, typically when you're looking to wager on Brunson, it more often than not revolves around his points and not as much with his facilitating abilities, but he's averaging 12.3 potential assists throughout the postseason. Now, just 5.5 assists per game this series, and he's only gone over 6.5 once. So you may be wondering why the number is a bit more bullish on Brunson. But the way that I look at it is not only does our company's projections have him at 7, and I fall in line with those, and it's something that I look to fairly often. But in order for the Knicks to win, somebody else has to step up, and this kind of coincides with Karl Anthony Towns and going over his points prop, but somebody else has to step up besides Brunson. I mean, the formula of him scoring 30-plus points clearly isn't working to a certain degree in this series against the Pacers. I mean, in order to keep pace with them, you have to have other outlets. You have to have other options. And yes, Brunson getting 30 is great, but somebody else has to step up. So I do lean toward New York winning this game and then it going back, back and forth in the series and extending. But look, I mean, at the end of the day, again, I mean, Brunson has to be a facilitator, and the Pacers, they're probably going to swarm him and try to limit him enough to where it's going to open those other opportunities for him too. Because if you take Brunson out of the game, well, then that's really a big piece that you are missing if you're New York. But I think New York should lean into that and try to expand their offensive scoring. So I like him over 6.5 assists tonight.
Yeah, I think that Jalen Brunson has the ball just so much too. It's one of those instances where, yes, it's score first, but when you have the ball that much, you got time to find 7 assists out there in a game like this. On the other side of the court, Danny, at the point guard position is Tyrese Halliburton, a much different type of point guard, but in the most recent game, did everything, including the scoring. His second 30-point performance in this series, averaging 24, 7, and 11 now over the 4 games against the Knicks here. Going back to the Garden, he'd love to close this thing out. What do you expect from Halliburton on the road?
Look, I mean, he's going to get pretty close to a triple-double as he does so often, as I would imagine. Maybe not so close. I mean, the rebounds obviously is where he kind of slacks, but it wouldn't shock me if he's getting near it. We know he's going to get around 9 assists, and certainly he's going to be capable of scoring 10-plus points. But the way that I'm handicapping Halliburton is I took him under 3.5 3-point field goals made. Now, it was around that minus 145, 150 price. And again, we're eating the chalk here, but all series long, his 3-point prop has been around 2.5, unless I missed a game or, saw differently. But because of what happened last game where he just absolutely exploded, now the books have ticked it up to 3 and a hook. And yes, the odds are set fairly appropriately, but I still see value with this prop number being at 3 in the hook. He stayed under this so many times outside of this series. I think he got over it maybe one other time against the Knicks here, who do have a fairly below average defense. We've seen that all season, and that's been the case in this series in particular. But again, this just seems like a little bit of recency bias, overreaction. You're going to Madison Square Garden, tough environment, backs against the wall for the Knicks, who need to step up defensively more than ever. And if they're going to try to limit the firepower out of Indiana, it starts with Halliburton. So that's why I think it's a good look to get him under 3.5 3-pointers.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting, I think, to see what Halliburton's aggressiveness looks like scoring the basketball, because 23 field goal attempts is the most he's had in the playoffs, and it's happened twice in this series. I think he's gaining in confidence, undoubtedly. We'll see if the Knicks can shake that whatsoever. Danny, it's going to be a really fun game. Before we get you out of here, any other action we haven't discussed that you're locked in with for Pacers-Knicks?
Yeah, this line moved a lot, but I took Aaron Nesmith over 10.5 points, minus 125. Now it's moved up to 12.5. I took that the other day, but this is a guy who's just finding ways to score. So if you kind of adjust it in a parlay of some sorts, or even find 11 in the hook, I think Nesmith is a solid option to consider, along with him over 4.5 rebounds. Those are a pair of other props that I like for tonight's game.
Yeah, this is going to be a really fun one. We'll see who steps up for the Pacers, because they always find some guy to have a huge game. We know Neesmith had it in game number 1. Danny, we appreciate it, man. Best of luck on the action tonight with the Eastern Conference Finals.
Likewise, Kevin. Appreciate you having me on. Take care.
All right, awesome stuff there from Danny. And I will remind everybody for myself tonight, I'm on Andrew Nembhard over the 10.5 points. He's been incredible on the road for the Pacers, averaging 15 points per game and giving you 12 or more in 6 of 7 road games. I'm also going to give Mitchell Robinson a shot in this one at 13.5 points plus rebounds. Mitch Rob should see more than the 19 minutes he played last game. I think he's got an opportunity for 10 rebounds. At that point, then, it's a dunk and a successful trip to the line on a hack of Robinson that could get the job done. If you want some more Pacers Knicks action, we'll get it from Dane Martinez, who joins the show after a break here on SportsGrid. It is Game Time Decisions, live here on a Thursday night.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that riff. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Game Time Decisions. We are live on a Thursday night. I'm Kevin Walsh. I'm joined by Dane Martinez. Dane, great to get you back in the mix here on a Thursday. We got a game tonight. I know you got action for the game tonight. We got to make people wait for the action, though. They'll get it. They got time. You know what I mean? We got Dane here for like 15 minutes or so. So we'll get there, Dane, right? You'll give it to the people in a little bit.
Whatever you need.
I want to ask you a little, just some football stuff. I feel like I'm starting to see that buzz where people are like, 100 days. I saw Mahomes threw a pass behind his back, and I was like, here we go with this again. We're a ways out. I wanted to ask you this, though, on the Chiefs, Dane, because I felt last year many people, I know myself included, thought that the Chiefs' offense would take a step back towards what we expect from them. And that just flatly did not happen. They once again were winning games through, we'll figure it out, a little more defense than offense. But nobody cares because they get given all the grace and they're winning. And then the Super Bowl comes and it's like, oh, okay, maybe there were some underlying issues. Do you feel that right now your thought is, now this time the Chiefs offense can get back to the high-flying, dominant level they once were at?
I don't know about that, Kev. Honestly, I would be more on the side like they got lucky a ton of times in the regular season last year, right? Blocked field goals at regulation, ones off the upright, penalties left and right. Isaiah Likely's foot was too big, right? A penalty against Kyle Pitts at the end of the game against Atlanta. I think that luck regression definitely happens a little bit. I think Travis Kelce is a year older. I mean, he was considering retirement, for goodness sakes, after the Super Bowl. The only thing that counterbalances that for me, Kev, and it is a big deal, is Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice, in the first 3-4 weeks of the season last year, was absolutely going off like gangbusters, was one of the top 5 wide receivers for fantasy purposes in the NFL. Then he gets hurt. And then we always thought that there was that potential cloud of a suspension hanging over his head. And now it looks like any kind of suspension for Rashee Rice is not going to happen this season, right? So I think the Chiefs actually, while maybe Kelce as their main weapon gets diluted more and more with age, I think Rashee Rice actually being there helps this offense. But I do think overall, I see their win total at about 11.5. And for me, it's an under or pass, quite frankly, because of the luck regression that I think will happen. And I think the rest of the division, Denver, the Chargers, even the Raiders to a certain extent, who play the Chiefs well somehow, they all got better. And I don't think the Chiefs necessarily did by a ton.
Yeah, it's a division that lacks incompetence just by the nature of the head coaches. To have Harbaugh, Carroll, and Peyton as that's 6 of your games, no matter who you are, you're going to have to show up to all 6 of those games. It makes for a fascinating year in Kansas City. And it's a good point on Kelce. Look, the fact that he's decided means that he's going to be bought in, but also maybe he's thinking, I don't need to be the guy. We have so many guys. Playoffs, we can get up another level. Speaking of guys who, retirement questions, listen, Dane, I believe it was January? You were like, yeah, Rodgers, Pittsburgh, it's kind of obvious. And I was doing the thing I do where, like, I don't know, Niners, or what if, hear me out. And it's like, okay, that's a waste of time. But what's crazy is you've yet to be able to take your victory lap because he still hasn't decided he's going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Well, here's the thing. The NFL certainly thinks I'll be able to take a victory lap, and they came out with the schedule for week 1 with the Steelers and the Jets, right? Originally, I thought it had to happen on that Pat McAfee special that they were doing in Pittsburgh. Yeah. I thought he was going to come out of the curtain. I thought it had to happen before the draft. I thought it had to happen before OTAs, but apparently not. Here's the kind of curious part about all this for me, Kevin, is if you're going to bring Aaron Rodgers in, why are you trading away George Pickens? Don't you think that, like, it's a win-now move to want to have Metcalf and Pickens? So that, to me, was curious. I do not think, Kev, that they are going to start week 1 against the Jets with Mason Rudolph as their quarterback, right? So I do still ultimately think it's Aaron Rodgers, and he's just going to be like, yeah, I don't need OTAs. I'm plug and play. I don't know if that ingratiates him to the organization. However, every day that goes by, I put another 0.5% on the idea that their starting quarterback come week 1 could be Kirk Cousins, because that could still be a move that they can make in their back pocket if this goes south with Aaron Rodgers. So I do think probably Aaron Rodgers still, but who knows?
Look, it's a really good point. I'll say I think the books certainly also think it's not going to be Rudolph, because I don't know who's low enough on the Jets to lay a field goal on the road with Mason Rudolph there. And I think the Jets are going to be one of the really interesting teams, Dane, because one element of that game that even jumps off from the week 1 line, it's not just the the 3 number, but it's a sub 40 total in week 1. Do you think that speaks to questions around Justin Fields or buy-in on Aaron Glenn plus those Jets defensive pieces?
Listen, I'm all in on the Jets, and I think you know this. I believe that they are putting the pieces around Justin Fields, and it starts with the offensive line. Last year, the interior offensive line for the Jets between AVT, Tippmann, and Simpson were all within the top 8 at their position in PFF. Olufashanu on one side, healthy, last year's first-round draft pick, and then this year getting Armand Membu, number 7 overall. I think an offensive line will change everything for the Jets. You, Kev, as an Eagles fan, know about the impact of an offensive line. And here's another thing that you as an Eagles fan know. I was so excited, brother man, when they kept the tush push legal. But do you know who, after Jalen Hurts and after Josh Allen, has the 3rd most successful tush pushes over the last 4 years and does so at a 92% clip? It is Justin Fields, my friend. And I think that running offense with an offensive line with his Ohio State teammate 5 on the other side, they are going to be good to go. Over 5.5 for the Jets, Jets.
And I also think that the Jets put good fortune in their favor by not voting against the tush push, unlike the cowardice Buffalo Bills or the cowardice Green Bay Packers or the incredibly embarrassing quotes that we saw from Ben Johnson. Jets might have got the Lions' correct offensive coordinator. We'll talk some NBA with Dane next, right here on SportsGrid.
Face is the new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Like seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Like, really? Guy's got 2 shots. You're face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces of the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight. Only on SportsGrid.
And if you go through CAT, that means CAT at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
I already heard yesterday that he's got no shot to win the Cy Young because it's going to Scooble again. Scooble's winning the Cy Young. No shot for free.
They're both terrific. They both have incredible numbers and credentials and stats and strikeouts and ERA and everything, like every single category. Freed is right there with him.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid. We are live right here on SportsGrid, the Major League Baseball board right now. With the live action is waiting runs. Nothing. Bills Braves were scoreless in Toronto and wherever the A's claim to be from. I think technically nowhere at the moment. We're joined by Dane Martinez. We'll talk a little NFL for you here on a Thursday, but it is the NBA that takes the main event slot with the Game 5 tonight in Madison Square Garden between the Pacers and the Knicks. And Dane, before we get the pick, I just want to ask you this, right? Because you're local, right? Dane embodies like the city. Are you bothered that teams keep walking into the Garden and grabbing wins? Because you know me, not a Knicks fan, but very much from New York, and it's actually bothering me that it's sweet right now. Like, people are walking in there like, yep, I'll have me some of that.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. It doesn't make me feel good, especially to have Neesmith come in and get 14 points in 3 minutes. But that's buoyed by the fact of what we do on the road, right? Like being able to get those games in Detroit, being able to do things in Boston, being able to get one, in Indiana, hopefully as well. I think yes, it does bother me a little bit, but I still do believe this team tonight, at least, when the chips are down, are going to hopefully save face in front of everything from Ben Stiller to Timothy Chalamet.
good old Timmy making the road trips.
Yeah.
Here, my take on. I actually don't think he should have taken the road trips. I think that he should just stick to the Garden. Look, he probably did it because he just wants to, and he is that much of a Knicks fan.
He can. Right.
Yeah, 100%. But it's like, listen, you'll see Timmy. Like, I don't think Jack traveled with the Lakers. Like, Spike travels, I get it. But, like, look,
that's fair.
You want to see Chalamet? I'll see you at the Garden.
This is also a Knicks team and a Knicks environment that we have literally not seen in this century. You know what I mean? So I can't fault anybody for kind of getting swept up in it on any way, shape, or form, right? So I'm okay with it. I think they need to bring it tonight, though, to be sure.
Yeah, they definitely do. So tell me then, what angle have you found on the board tonight?
Yeah, I like Josh Hart, and part of this is because I really don't know how right Cat is, if you want to know the truth, right? That knee looks a little bit barky to me. He looks like he re-injured her a little bit at the end of the last game. And to me, if Cat doesn't get a full complement of minutes, that means more Mitchell Robinson minutes, which means more Josh Hart out there, potentially as the offensive rebounder, a guy like that. I like him to get double-digit points tonight, over 9.5 points. There's actually an 8.5 still out there. Josh Hart has gone over this number in 11 of 16 games. He had 12 points last time out in game 4. And I just think he is going to be more of the guy that kind of cleans up the glass, especially if Cat is not out there as much and Mitchell and Hart are kind of splitting those minutes. And we always say, right, Kev, that the role players play better at home. And so as this series shifts back to the Garden, you talk about kind of the pride, the culture, right? I think Josh Hart embodies that, and he is one of the guys I expect to step up, kind of aligned with the spirit of what you're talking about. I think he gets at least double-digit points. Hey, he's done it about 70% of the time in the playoffs.
Yeah, for Josh, he found a nice rhythm getting to the line by just driving to the basket once the Knicks were in the bonus. I think this Cat thing is really fascinating tonight because him being not 100% does not mean that you have to be like game time decision, 35 minutes away from tip. We haven't confirmed he's playing. That is, I think Cat plays. I don't think he plays 40 minutes. And with the season on the line, you would expect him to play 40 minutes. Meanwhile, Josh Hart will play every single possible second that Tibbs allows him to. So I like it. This will be, we'll see if they can. I'll just tell you this. If they lose this game, the Pacers are going to finish this playoffs with as many wins in the Garden as the Knicks. That cannot happen.
I hear you. And let me tell you something real quick. It's not available at all these books, but check for the largest comeback markets. You can bet both teams to be down by 10 and come back at around 5 or 6 to 1, chop it in half, about plus 270. How many times do you see, double-digit swings in the NBA these days? That's a market I would check out as well, Kev.
Especially with these two teams. They both seemingly try to lull. I don't know if it's like a UFC.
I want to be down 8 going into the fourth.
It's like if you're really good at jiu-jitsu, it's like I actually want you to take me down. And that's what these two teams for some reason are doing. Dane, always fantastic. Always appreciate it, man. Good luck with the Heart. And I look forward to the next time we get to check in.
Anytime, Kev. Good to see you.
All right, good stuff as always again there from Dane Martinez. We're going to talk little golf as well. The Memorial. Scotty Scheffler. What do we got this week? We'll talk it next here on SportsGrid.
face. He's the new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Like seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Like, really? Guy's got 2 shots. You're the face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces in the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
And if you go through Cat, that means Cat at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
I already heard yesterday that he's got no shot to win the Cy Young because it's going to Scooble again. Scooble's winning the Cy Young, no shot for free.
They're both terrific. They both have incredible numbers and credentials and stats and strikeouts and ERA and everything, like every single category. Freed is right there with him.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid. All right, live to the right here. We're on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh with you on this Thursday night. And, of course, we still await the beginning of the postseason action tonight from the NBA and the NHL. But in the meantime, we can stop on over at the Memorial. Always a not major event, but important event on the PGA Tour. And an outright market that sees some big names at the top of it in Scottie Scheffler and Colin Morikawa, but it's Ben Griffin who right now is 7 under, the leader by 2 shots, and with the third best price in the outright market. To help us talk about it, of course, it's Brady Cannon. Brady, always good to check in with you after the opening round at a tournament like the Memorial. What was your biggest takeaway from these first 18?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Kevin. Good to be with you as always. And I love this event. It's right there for me with Riviera and the Genesis Invitational and Torrey Pines. It's one of the classics. And Jack does not like his golf course to be beaten up, and he's made it tough, just like he does every year. Ben Griffin getting out and shooting 65 is pretty remarkable. This guy's now won twice in the last couple of months. We were on him successfully when he won the team event in New Orleans, paired up with Andrew Novak. And then he goes and wins solo last week at Colonial, and then goes out and shoots 7 under par today. Stumbled for a little bit, had it going real hot early, then stumbled a little bit, and then got hot again. And it's remarkable because you ask what my biggest takeaway was. 10 guys shot 76. This is a field of 72, okay? These are the best players on the PGA Tour. It's a signature event, 72 players. 10 guys shot 76. 13 players shot worse than that. Only 13 players out of 72 are under par, and Griffin is 2 shots better than anybody else. I mean, his 7 under par was a total outlier. 2 guys in this field, Justin Thomas, who is one of the favorites, and Daniel Berger shot 80. Berger shot 81, Thomas shot 80. So the course is playing really tough. And Griffin, Kev, I don't think, I don't like to root against people, but I'm telling you, I don't think it's going to hold up. He did really well off the tee. He was second today in the field for strokes gained off the tee. Number 1 in putting. The putter was red hot, but His irons were not. On approach, he was 29th in this field, basically middle of the pack as far as the irons, and 25th in greens and regulation. So he wasn't hitting the ball all that great. He just happened to make a lot of putts, and that's usually not a sustainable formula.
My biggest takeaway from what you just said is if you are Griffin, Morikawa, Homa, Lowry, a part of you now they won't actually think this. So maybe those who have bet those guys in the outright market, you have to be like, you've got to be kidding me with this Scotty Scheffler. Like, it seems like anybody could have blown up today when you mentioned some of those names, and he's still one of the guys 2 under or better. It's just he's unflappable in these tournaments.
And he didn't even play that well.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Scotty. 25th in this field for strokes gained off the tee. He only hit 6 of 14 fairways. He was 67 out of 72 players for driving accuracy.
Yeah.
Approach, he was pretty good, 12th. Putting, below average, 37th for strokes gained putting. And yet he's 2 under par, to your point. I mean, it's just unreal. The guy has his C+ game or his B- game, and he's 5 shots off the lead, and he's right there. And his price goes down. He goes into the tournament, plus 280, and now he's plus 240. I don't think it's an awful bet to bet him to win it at this point. But you and I were just talking before we came on about, just because it has a minus in front of it doesn't mean it's good value. I think Scotty Scheffler to finish top 5 at minus 300 is a really good bet. Because are you going to tell me he's not going to finish top 5? Now, he might not win it, but he's probably going to be top 5. And I don't mind laying $3.
And I'll actually use this to just make the point off of last week's tournament that Brady and I talked about. We talked a little bit pre-show, is that last week Scotty was minus 600 to be top 20 at in a tournament with a lesser field, a bigger favorite. And now after just one round of golf where he is, still he's not in first or anything, he's minus 600 for top 10. Minus 2,500 to be inside the top 20. Now, here's the thing. He will be, right? But I don't think either Brady or I will argue to you minus 2,500 is a good bet. It's a winning bet. It's not a good bet. It gives you an idea. Sometimes with Scotty, you either get it before they tee off or you just hope something goes wrong for him. Who around Scotty, Brady, then maybe jumps out to you through the first 18?
I think Morikawa looks great. And Morikawa, actually, 3 of my pre-tournament plays, I think, are off to really good starts, knock on wood. And Morikawa's a guy that I bet pre-tournament. He is second right now in strokes gained approach, 4th in driving accuracy, 3rd in greens and regulation, number 1 in strokes gained tee to green. And the putting is not red hot, but it's solid at 16th. I love that start, and he's in second place, and he's won at this golf course before, so that's great. Shane Lowry's another guy I'm on pre-tournament, number 1 with the irons on strokes gained approach, number 2 in strokes gained tee to green, and yet he's putting awful, 49th in strokes gained putting, and here the guy is shooting 3 under par. So if he finds a hot putter over the next 3 days, he could absolutely go on to win this thing, a guy that has won in this part of the country before. And then Bud Colley. I bet this guy pre-tournament at 100 to 1. He's been playing really, really well. Just finished 3rd last week at Colonial. 12th off the tee, 5th on approach, 6th in greens and regulation, 5th in strokes gained tee to green. And yet he's also putting very poorly, 61st in a 72-player field with the putter. Again, if the putter just warms up a little bit, I think this guy's going to be right there. He's tied for 11th right now. Now he's 90 to 1 to win it. But here's another great top 5 bet, I believe. Plus 750. 7.5 to 1 on Bud Colley to finish top 5. And he's only a couple shots out of that position right now.
Colin Morikawa jumps right off the page as well, just seeing how good of an opening round he had, Brady. The fact that number, I think you see he is being given, I would say, respect right now in the market, which is almost frustrating because if somebody didn't get in pre-tournament like you did, it's like, oh, can I, take advantage of the Scotty respect that's always demanded. But Morikawa feels like, and this is if maybe the first time you're seeing Brady and I kind of talk golf, something that Brady's always said that I think makes all the sense in the world. If you're talking outright pre-tournament, then we're going to play Thursday, Friday. But Morikawa definitely seems like a key guy to track here now heading into the Friday action.
I don't think 4-1 is a bad price on Morikawa. Okay. You just hope, and going off of what he did today, it looks like that is very sustainable. He played really steadily. Nothing really jumps off the page as far as an outlier that would possibly regress negatively. You think if he just keeps going along like he did today, he's going to be just fine. Even if the putter gets a little hotter or a little colder, not going to kill him. He's striping the ball as far as the ball striking. So I like what Morikawa's doing. You have to remember, and I said I don't mind what Scotty's doing either. If today's his worst round, we're in trouble. So, Scotty won this last year. He's the defending champion. And Morikawa finished second. I mean, right now it looks like that is a possible scenario once again. So I think bet accordingly on those two guys.
Yeah, I'm also just really interested to see with Shane Lowry. He's someone who kind of has enough pedigree to be at the top of these tournaments, but sometimes we've seen a tough round completely drop him out. So I think he's another name certainly to keep our eyes on here. Nice to see Max Homa as well, just have himself kind of in that mix after a really tough start to the season. Brady, we appreciate it. As always, should be a really, really fun tournament to follow.
You got it. Thanks, Kev. Enjoy the basketball tonight and the hockey.
Yes, absolutely. We'll talk about both after this break right here on SportsGrid.
The new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Like seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Like, really? Guy's got 2 shots. New face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces of the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight. Only on SportsGrid.
And if you go through Cat, that means Cat at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
I already heard yesterday that he's got no shot to win the Cy Young because it's going to Scooble again. Scooble's winning the Cy Young, no shot for free.
They're both terrific. They both have incredible numbers and credentials and stats and strikeouts and ERA and everything, like every single category. Freed is right there with him.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid. All right, live right here. We're on SportsGrid on a Thursday night. Kevin Walsh, and I'm now joined by Dave Showerpan. The hits keep coming. It's a packed Thursday here. We appreciate the consig making some time. And right away, strong with the Philly stuff.
Yep.
Did you notice they closed Wheeler as a favorite at home? Is that just, they won't take the doubleheader? Because I was a little surprised to see that move.
Yes and no. I had the under 7.5, and something just happened, and I got a bunch of runs right now. It looks like, I don't know what that was. Yeah, maybe it was at a grand slam. I'm not surprised, Kevin. But a lot of times, yes, opposite result in a doubleheader. So you get the Braves lose the first game, so people bet them in the second game, and back-to-back home runs apparently off of Wheeler in the fourth. So, all right, one home run. There we go. Thanks.
And Dave is getting fed some terrible information in his ear, which is not his fault. And I think we would all agree on that. The Braves are up 4-0.
Yes.
Austin Riley had a 2-run double, and then Ozzie Albies with a 2-run home run. They're now hitting Zach Wheeler, which the Braves scoring some runs, yeah, because Wheeler hadn't given up a run in 3 consecutive starts. But 4 through 4, it's a good day at the office all of a sudden for the Atlanta offense. Speaking of good day at the office for offense, Dave, the books. Now listen, I'm not going to act like I've been out here, Mr. 75% during the postseason or anything. But sometimes, you know me, I'll call out some bad booking. And they got roped into the bang under of Game 3. And we've seen this in a lot of series. Goes on, harder to score. And we had the bang under of Game 3, Knicks Pacers. And now, whether the books did it or all the money did it, you'll tell me. But we got a 218.5 in Game 4. And I think they're still trying to count all the points that got scored in that game. So they've propped it back up a little bit here for Game 5, yet you can tell some of the under money is still trickled in. What are you hearing around the total for tonight's game?
It's crazy because early this morning, a lot of places in town here in Vegas opened at 222, around that number, 221.5. Immediately took bets over. Some places in town went as high as 224.5 to then get it back down to the under. So this is old school. This is fun. This is the sports book stuff that I knew, where you could just move a total 2 points and actually get a bet on the other side. So books are working right now. This is good. Now we'll see the end game, because if we get another fast start, this thing's going to shoot up into the 230s quickly, and then even up into the 240s if need be, if it goes on the pace that it did the other night. I don't know if it will. K-Dub, what do you think? I like the over, but we're not getting 250 points tonight, are we?
No, yeah, I slightly lean under. I think it could land close, but I'm not. I'm not running to it in any capacity. I wanted to ask you this, Dave. If the Pacers win tonight's game, we're not going to have NBA basketball until next Thursday. Yeah. So in the room, I'm sure it's getting rid of the Knicks is good for us. I feel like that's a safe assumption. But is there a part of no, more games, more opportunities for people to bet? Just let this series keep going?
Always. As a book guy, you always want more games. Give me another opportunity to make more money. I leave the food on the shelf another 2 days. We don't want to completely clean the shelf off because it's gone. That's it. Perishable item. So, and I think books have some serious exposure on the Pacers. I know a lot of guys are holding some 30-1, 40-1 tickets to win the Eastern Conference, let alone 125, 150-1 to win the whole thing. So the books would love to see the Knicks win tonight and actually somehow get this thing back to a Game 7 if they could get it past Game 6. But one game at a time. I don't know, K-Dub. The Pacers are fun, and I think Pacers Thunder would be a fun, although probably not that watched or not that much bet on series. 750, K-Dub, 750 the Thunder are to win this whole thing?
All right, so a couple things there. I know I'll bet on it. I know I'll watch it. For anybody who is not going to check those boxes, you don't like basketball, and I just need you to admit that, all right? I need you to admit that. And if you admit it, then that's cool. But I don't want to hear from the people who be like, I like basketball, but back in my... No. You don't like basketball. And that's what it is. All right? You go watch the hockey or the baseball you're pretending matters in May. You go do whatever you want. Have fun with it. I don't care. But I'm not saying that applies to Dave, right? Dave's talking about what the consensus thoughts are out there. Right. But if you're not betting, you're not watching, you don't like basketball, so do me a double favor. Don't talk about it. All right? Don't talk about it. I'll handle it. I'll handle it. Yeah, no. Right. Training camp update. Mahomes threw behind his back. Will Rogers sign? We'll move on. Yeah, OTAs. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Now, as far as the Pacers, the Thunder and their price, this has been true since basically the Hartenstein-Caruso moves. I get it, but I can't get to it.
No way.
Well, what were they supposed to do with the number, right? I mean, at the end of the day, nobody is better at blowing teams out than this group.
Correct.
They had them as huge favorites against Denver. They trimmed that number massively against Minnesota. If I had to guess, they probably got knocked around a little bit on that one because they put it under minus 400. And others were like, whoa, that's a little disrespectful. But the people with the duffels were like, yeah, all right. And next thing you know, they're like, we ain't doing that again. We ain't doing that again.
Correct.
And the next thing you know, you got a minus 750 number that the nicest thing someone will say is, that feels a little heavy, without actually telling you they're betting the Pacers at plus 500 or plus 550. That's where we are right now on the NBA. What we're going to do, we're going to get you out of here with a little thoughts on Anthony Edwards and revisit the crystal balls on a Thursday night.
Face is the new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Like seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Like, really? Guy's got 2 shots. You're the face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces of the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight. Only on SportsGrid.
And if you go through Cat, that means Cat at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing Sloot too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
I already heard yesterday that he's got no shot to win the Cy Young because it's going to Scoogle again. Scoogle's winning the Cy Young. No shot for free.
They're both terrific. They both have incredible numbers and credentials and stats and strikeouts and ERA and everything. Like every single category, Freed is right there with him.
Pharrell, coast to coast. Only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid. Do you believe in miracles? The people of New York are hoping so. What about the people of Dallas? It's a Crystal Ball Thursday here, and Yarnell is backing the Birds. Looks like he's learning from old K-Dubs. 10-1 Eagles rushing touchdown every game next season. The tush-push ban almost being put in, I think leading him to the window. SEC Chris says give him SEC Texas week 1 against Ohio State. I had to respect it. I didn't go too far into the future, but I thought maybe the odds would make up for it. And, Dave, I wanted to see if you think there's any chance that Dallas at 15-1 can still win the Stanley Cup. I think it's worth a free bet if you're sitting on one. I don't think the Stars are done just yet.
Good luck. That's all. That's all.
All right,
I'll
so
say
we're
to
up
that
against
one.
it, folks. That's
all right.
That's pretty
just smash
straightforward.
the crystal ball. Like, good luck with that one. I don't think they can win this series, let alone I don't think they're beating Florida if they get to the Stanley Cup. But thanks for playing.
Hey.
And what else you got?
Yeah, no, that's pretty much all we got. Here's my thing on Dallas, and I think maybe I'm being overly influenced by what I believe the Knicks' chances are. But, do I believe this? Yeah, I think Dallas has a better chance to win the Stanley Cup than the Knicks do to win this series.
Fair.
So ultimately, I'll take the chance that the Stars. Do you think the Oilers or Stars win tonight?
I like the game under first blush in a play, and I like the Oilers to close it out. I do, unless Audinger wins the game. He has to win the game 2-1. That's how the Dallas wins.
I'll tell you who didn't have a chance to come back from 3-1. That was the Minnesota Timberwolves. Dave, we appreciate it as always. I thought the Anthony Edwards quotes, though, following that game were interesting. I want you to take a listen, and then we'll talk about it right after. Here's Anthony Edwards after being eliminated in the conference finals for the second straight season.
Does it feel like to come up short of the finals 2 years in a row?
It's exciting. I don't know why people would think it would hurt. I mean, it's exciting for me. I'm 23. I get to do it a whole bunch of times. I'm hurt more so for myself for Mike. I came up short for Mike. Like I said, we tried last year. We couldn't get it. We tried again this year. We're going to try again next year. But hurting is a terrible word to use. I'm good, yeah.
Looking at Mike and his longevity, how hard it is to get there, does that put this in perspective at all, too?
Yeah, I'm going to work my butt off this summer. Nobody's gonna work harder than me this summer. I tell you that much. So, yeah, I'll try to make it happen again for Mike.
Particular things that you want to work on headed into this offseason?
Yeah, I'm not gonna give out that information. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that in house this time.
That right there is the best 50 seconds that Anthony Edwards delivered the entire conference finals. Because the finals performance he actually gave us was unacceptable. He has no argument that he was the second best player in the series. I'm not sure he was the third best player in the series. I think the OKC Big Three might have all outplayed him. Forget SGA. Ant last year, though, being eliminated in the conference finals, you could live with. Unbelievably young. First time he was there, Luka was on a mission. That Mavs team had juice. OK Dubs was backing him. You know you get a boost when that's the case. And the next thing you know, we say, what can next year be? And the thing is, Ant wasn't supposed to be back here this year. I didn't like the Cat Randall trade of it all. They were the 6th seed. They turned it on in the middle of the season, and a lot of that had to do with him. He made all-second NBA, deserved all-second NBA. Some thought it was first-team all-NBA. But then you watch that series against the Lakers, and he had a brilliant game, but it wasn't a brilliant series. And then you watch the series against the Warriors, and you're like, man, if Steph was healthy, I don't know what this would have been. But it doesn't matter because here you are again in the conference finals, and what is it going to be? And it wasn't enough. And I thought Ant's comments at the end of Game 4 were unencouraging. I didn't struggle. I made the right play all 41 minutes. Hold on a second now. 1 of 7 from 3, 16 points. You only had 6 assists. I'm not sure I can accept that, Anthony Edwards. But then it was so bad to close things out. And you saw him on the bench, and it felt like it actually was resonating with him. Okay, I'm not letting this be a thing. I'm not getting to the conference finals on some regular basis and getting rocked in 5 and it's actually getting outplayed by a ton of people, it feels like, across the court. And I believe him. I do. I believe him when he says he's going to be the hardest worker this offseason. It's a hard thing to do, but if he's in the race, it's one of the best things that can happen to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards got my attention, and I also like how he always does. Shout out OG Mike Conley. We'll see what Minnesota can do over the offseason. We'll see if the Knicks begin their offseason tonight. I'm not sure if they will. I think Mitch Robb will step up. I'm confident Andrew Nembhard will. Your best bet is Nembhard over the 10.5 points. In-game live is next here on SportsGrid.